back in New York, baby. Gonna do some VO2 Max testing at a running lab here in Manhattan, as well as some threshold testing, which I've never had done. When it comes to like running science, I'm probably the worst runner that knows anything about that stuff. So like, this is not a very informative running YouTube channel that you're on and that you're watching right now. I'm not that kind of channel to do shoe reviews, data breakdown. I run so much on feel. This YouTube channel is all about the vibes. It's all about my life, traveling, running, trying to break some goals in the marathon stuff. So like, this is gonna be so new to me. This is a whole new language. I just get out, I try to hit my paces that my coach wanted me to hit, and that's it. Dr. Dillon was able to teach me in this hour testing of threshold and VO2 Max. So I'll try and ask the right questions so this can be as formative for other people that are interested in this as possible. I'm gonna put on my data science tech hat, and hopefully you guys get something valuable.
Doing well. Good to meet you, man. Dylan. How you doing, man? Doing welcome. Here's Andrew. Here's the man, and Dr. Dave.
How's it going?
Andrew runs the spot.
Nice to meet you. Right on. Dave. Joe. Pleased to meet you.
He'll be running us through the testing today. So yeah.
I'm in pretty good shape right now, so I'm excited. I've always wanted to know this kind of information. I'm not very data science driven. I run on feel. I run on vibes. Okay. So this is very new territory, new language for me. So I'm excited to soak it all up.
To see how it complements too.
Oh, right. And I have my goals of what I'm trying to do in the marathon. So this information that I'm learning, like, how does it help me reach these goals of breaking 2:30 in the marathon? So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm excited to learn and see what happens.
Fast. You can get a chance to run. We're going to jumps. So if you think about running, it's a lot of micro jumps, right? Yeah. Of course, you're spending time on one leg, spending time on two legs. Yeah. This is going to help us to see, are there any imbalances? How symmetrical are your legs? Yeah. And maybe some of the strength-based interventions can come out of this, right? If one leg is significantly weaker than the other.
Getting ready for trial number 1 here. Hands on hips, nice and still. Remember, down fast, up high. Go.
That looked very off notes.
You felt one leg?
I definitely felt like I was going to the right.
It's okay.
Yeah. Good. Point. And then these forces that you're landing with. Wow. Along this entire way, we have right versus left measurements. In blue is the right side, in red is the left side, and yellow is the total. So along this whole movement here, we'll be able to see if you're fairly balanced along the way, or if you're favoring one side or the other, either on the production side or the absorption side. And then we can calculate jump height, forces, and then separate that out into respective legs.
Okay.
After this, we're going to do one leg at a time to see if there are any specific imbalances.
Got it.
On a single leg movement.
So we're about to do one leg now?
We're going to do 2 more trials. 2 more trials. Just like this. Okay. I don't want to make any judgments off the first one. I'll have you do a couple more. Hands on hips, nice and still. Remember, down fast, up high. Go. Yes. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to separate out into right and left sides. So we're going to do right leg first. All right, so right leg first. On the right leg, nice and still. And go.
Oh, dude. I felt like 100 years old on that one. Dude, what? That was so...
We're going to call that a practice.
Dude, that was crazy. I'm sure, like, the video, it just looked like I went off the ground that much. That's what it felt like in my head, that I barely left the ground.
Go. Go.
Oh, dude. My left is so weak.
We're looking at how springy you are, how stiff your body is. How much that allows you to get back off the ground and maximize that jump height again for both of those jumps.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So that looked great to me.
Quick overview of next, and then we can record it as we're going to dive in. But long story short, we're going to start with thresholds. Okay. We're going to ramp you up from an easy jog to more of a race pace. Got it. About 24 minutes. Dave will walk you through the exact protocols. Gotcha. Then you're going to rest. And then we're gonna do the VO2 Max test. That's when it's gonna be all out. Yeah. So don't worry about this next one. It's gonna be like a light jog, 24 minutes or so. Okay. Whatever you wanna do to warm up for a light jog, feel free. Gym is yours. Get on the treadmill, whatever you gotta do.
What's the top pace I'm gonna be hitting in the threshold?
So I've got you going. I'm gonna start at 7.8, so 7:42 pace. Go up by half a mile an hour every 4 minutes. So topping out at 10.3, which is 10.3 is gonna be the 5:50.
Oh, that's gonna be easy. I'm definitely down to go faster. Like, that'll feel, because my marathon pace now is like 5:40s, 5:38s. So
so 550s will feel pretty, I won't be working too hard.
So I want the final stage here to be about a 7 out of 10 in terms of intensity.
We'll get the 8 to 10 will come through the VO2 Max test.
Yeah, because we want to work you up slowly to pass through both your first and your second thresholds here.
This is what people want to see, I guess.
Last words.
Dude.
You're gonna break between the two, don't worry.
Beam me up, Scotty.
All right, so I'm going to give you this. I want you to place this over your nose. So we're just giving the machine a little bit to calibrate, and we're going to get going. Like we talked about before, I think we're going to start off at 7.8 miles an hour. Every 4 minutes, we're going up by 0.5 miles an hour. I want you to just focus on running. I'm going to be in charge of changing the speed on the treadmill for you. At the end of every stage, I'm going to give you a 15-second or 10-second heads up, like the speeds can go up a little bit. And at that point, I'm going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you feel like you're working right now? Like we discussed before when we set the protocol, I want you to be at about a 7 out of 10 in intensity at the last stage. So at that kind of 10.5, 10.3 mark, I think we were talking about. So I want that to be about a 7 out of 10. About 24 minutes you're going to be on here. We'll get all those precise metrics for you to maximize your training. All right, all good? Good. Going up in 5 seconds to 9.3, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Push for about halfway done. Good. 1 more minute till we go up again. 9.8. 5 seconds. Heart rate 142. All the other metrics I'm looking at, incredible. Keep it up. A few more minutes to go here. 2 more stages after this. Scale of 1 to 10, how hard you work right now.
So sick.
Crushed it. Beautiful.
24 minutes felt like that was awesome. Like that.
Feel like we got to that 7 out of 10 that we were aiming for at the end there.
Well, that's what's tricky, right? So like 10 is an all-out sprint, right? Like that's like
absolute max.
So like 550 felt more closer to the 6 than the 7. Like
Okay.
I could have kept going at that for a long time. So it's the gauging's
Good.
weird. Because again, full-out sprint. If it's a 10, like that had to have been a 6.
Definitely got your 1 to 6, and now we'll get to 7 to 10.
Awesome.
You build strength to prevent injury. And so I've never done it. I'm very grateful that I've not been seriously injured the last few years. So I think like adding strength is going to be the key to where I'm trying to go. It's definitely my lowest hanging fruit. 3 weeks, 4 weeks of strength that I've done so far, I can definitely, my form feels more solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm flailing around. Like it feels more concrete and foundational. I can already feel that with just a few weeks. So at the end of that, my VO2 you said was 50, so like, is that good in terms of like, we haven't done the VO2 yet?
That's awesome.
Like what's,
That wasn't even your max.
Yeah.
So at least 60 right now, I think. If you could push it to 65.
almost 36.
36. So almost a 36-year-old with a VO2 max of 55 is in the top 1% effectively. And that was not your VO2 max because you were on a 6 or 7 out of 10.
So what was Tom's? His was crazy high.
Tom's was what, upper 60s, I want to say? Yeah.
60 something, maybe low 70.
Maybe low 70s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever he is, I'm trying to beat Tom.
Yeah.
So
We
that's
could
I'm
check
just
the-
way too competitive. Tom, I'm probably not gonna get you, but if I do, suck it. I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you, Tom.
All right, here we go. Start off 9.0. We're going to max. Every minute we're getting a little bit faster.
Topped out at 4:24 mile pace for like almost a minute. It's definitely the fastest I've gone on a treadmill. We hit max heart rate, I think, at like 170.
Heart rate 170. Real time VO2 is looking like 66, but I'll know more once I get to dive into your data a little bit more. That was incredible, man. You crushed it.
Dang. I think Dylan called 67. Bummer. That whole 12 minutes was about 2.25 miles of work. Total for today probably was like around 6, 7. That was gnarly. Working all the way from 640s down to 640 pace down to 424 pace over about 12 minutes of work. Every minute getting 20 to 25 seconds faster, 15 to 25 seconds faster. Felt good. Felt good to, like, I mean, heart rate's at 98 right now, so I mean, definitely recovered. So I wanted 70 so bad. I'll have to come back and do this again in like a year or 6 months or something.
So Joe just went through a incredible workup of testing. That guy is a killer athlete. I know he's got that 2 hour, 30-minute marathon goal. So we're gonna dive into the data, see how the results will prepare him to make this actionable. Dr. Dave, what are you seeing for Joe and how can this data come to life?
Joe absolutely crushed it, you're right. The money number here, the VO2, 66.7. I'll give him a 67, we'll round up for him. So very high performer. For a guy his age, it's in the superior category. We see a decent correlation between VO2 and marathon performance. So Joe wants to hit that 2:30 on his next marathon. So let's go into a little more detail about what he can do to do that. So we've got his first threshold, really when the body starts to work a little bit harder. His heart rate at this first threshold was 139 beats per minute. The second threshold was a little bit harder. This is when your body kind of switches into really high intensity performance mode. And this heart rate was about 158 beats per minute. So his pacing for his first threshold was about 6:30. Kicking up to his second threshold, we're going up to about a 5:30 minute per mile pace. So for Joe, what this really means as far as his training goes is he wants to kind of do his easy runs. If we talk about doing about 80% of your training in the zone, the high zone 2, your easy run levels, that's gonna be about a 6:30 pace. And kicking up a notch that second threshold, running about 5:30 pace. Sticking below that 158's gonna be key for Joe to stay in the right kind of training zones. We wanna make sure he's not flipping back and forth between using different energy substrates in order to maximize his performance here. And if Joe wants to do some specific VO2 max training days, we want to kick his heart rate up to over 170 beats a minute. For him, that happens at about 4 minute and 30 second pace, which is blazing fast.
So for Joe to think about winning his training, I mean, the guy's putting in the work, right? He's running for 10 plus hours on a weekly basis. He's gonna use this data to really pinpoint when he has a zone 2 run, I need to be in this exact heart rate zone. When I have a tempo run, I need to be in this exact heart rate zone, and the specific pacing associated with that. I think that's so helpful to just remove thinking around, oh, am I questioning, no, here's what you gotta do, just go do it and execute. And that's what we love with our runners, the elite athletes who can just make it happen, right? You tell them where to go, how high to jump, they're gonna go out and do it. That's who Joe is. And so he's put in the work already. Now we can just take that optimization to the next level.
Joe had less than 3% imbalance between force absorption, right and left leg, as well as a 2.7% imbalance in force production, so super balanced. So less than 3% is incredible. We try to aim for less than 10%. If we can somehow get 5% imbalance and asymmetry, that's awesome. But for Joe to be super balanced, I think that says a lot for his training, his incredible form when he's training and his lifting and he's running as well. So I think that's gonna help him to avoid injuries going forward and really keep him out on the road doing those races and doing training.
So for Joe, would you say he's cleared to do 2-legged workouts on the strength side when he's in the gym? Because of that low imbalance, he could focus on both maybe single and 2-legged movements?
For sure, absolutely, yeah. For people that we see massive asymmetries, we usually recommend target some single leg movements as well. But I don't think Joe has any big changes to make for his workouts, I think he's in a great place already, and to keep doing what he's doing, I think it's only going to help maximize his performance. Just another observation for Joe is that we look at 4 key domains when we're talking about these force plate metrics. We're looking at jump height, power, explosiveness, and force absorption. And he had great performance and really well-rounded results from all 4 of these domains, which is awesome to see. So really the best recommendation we can get for Joe is to just keep doing what he's doing and just increase his performance from here.
And maybe because of that balance, he actually can see if he wants to turn things up a bit, right? And take things to the next level, work on producing even more power. Some of those movements that can be done both in the gym as well as on the track. But why don't we finish off with this movement analysis? Because we did use smart insoles to look at how Joe's legs from a gait and strike pattern and ground contact time even. We looked at all these metrics. So what stands out to you on the movement analysis side, Dave?
Something maybe Joe can work on going forward with his runs, maybe just the timing of push-off. We notice he's pretty balanced as far as mid-foot strike pattern goes. He had about an 8% imbalance for push-off forces. Talk with Joe about, and he can work on go forward in order to more balance those push-off forces and make sure he's not really emphasizing landing or taking off from one leg over the other.
You'd recommend maybe to think about to take the single leg approach? Is it maybe more calf dominant or quad dominant because of where he's pushing off, for example?
Big fan of calf exercises. We talk about things like calf raises, even body weight exercises. You don't have to throw a ton of weight behind it, but any sort of calf exercise I think will be definitely beneficial for Joe.
And the best part is we can track his progress, right? See how 3 months from now, before the race, he performs on those force plates and doing the movement analysis to track actually are these workouts, the interventions, achieving the result that we aim, right? Which for him is maintaining that balance, but only increasing force production, increasing his ability to generate force in an even manner. That's going to set him up for stronger limbs, right? Stronger performance, of course, that comes from that lack of injury and staying race ready, which ultimately is what someone like Joe wants, right? We can't let him get off the track, right? If he gets injured, that's the worst thing. So he's in a really strong spot to push for that PR in that 2:30 marathon.
I think one of the most important things that we can say about Joe, he's already such a high performer, but there's no indication here from any of these tests that he's limited by anything. So it's as far as Joe wants to take it. So I look forward to see him on the podium for that next marathon.
You heard it straight from the doc himself. Joe, you got our blessing. Go for it, my friend.
How's it going, y'all? It's 6:45 a.m. here on Saturday, January 25th. I'm about 8 miles in, an hour into my 18 miles. I just met up with Chris here in Central Park at Columbus Circle. So I got about another 10 miles. It's one of those mornings right now. I think it was like 16, 15 degrees when I left. It's just, everything hurts. I'm 8 miles in. I still am not warmed up. So knees hurt, ankles hurt, hamstrings are stiff. But maybe that's because I'm almost 36 and I'm old. But it's just one of those mornings where it is just frigid out, if you can't tell. So anyways, but I'm happy to be out here. It's absolutely beautiful and desolate and like a frozen tundra. It's so beautiful out here. So we're gonna go finish these 10 miles and get back and have some breakfast. One of those days, man. Her nose is frozen. Every little joint hurts. But you get out here in Central Park. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Those days, man, you see 18 miles on the calendar and you're like, shit, dude. It's gonna be a long couple hours out here. Frozen. I mean, having my first true winter training block, I've always kind of taken off December, January, February. I ran here and there, but this is the most miles I've ever put through winter. And it's been historically cold in Franklin, Tennessee, so it's definitely got me used to it. And I'm really starting to enjoy it. I've got enough winter gear now where I feel comfortable
But I'm definitely starting to enjoy is a loose word, loosely use that, but I think I just really enjoy the winter morning light. That alone is enough for me to get up and get out and to enjoy it. But especially in Central Park, when there's no one around you. Because here in the summer, 10,000 runners at any given moment in Central Park. I've probably passed maybe 50 in the last 10 miles. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're about to exit Central Park, so I can meet you at La Cabra. Gotta get the photos for Strava. PSA. Just want to say thanks to everybody. The channel's pretty new. Just started in October when I ran Chicago. But I'm having so much fun doing this. I had never had this much fun when I did my photo YouTube channel. So this is giving me life and excitement. I just want to say thank you all for the incredible support, comments, likes. Been seeing some of you guys out here on some of my runs, even in Australia. So it's been an absolute treat to do this, and I'm fired up for big videos and a big year here on YouTube. So thanks a lot, y'all. Just hit 14. Gonna jump on 6th Ave, 5th Ave, run down to La Cabra, meet the missus, get a beautiful $17 pour over because I'm crazy. Little fun fact about me, I'm very into my coffee, very into my hand brew, specialty coffee. If I go to a coffee shop like La Cabra or any nice coffee shop, if they have pour overs and there's like a really expensive pour over, my bad trait, my toxic trait is I always get the most expensive cup. I just want to see why the hell is this cup of coffee $17. So La Cabra has one. I'm gonna go try it, see what the fuss is about. It's probably not a good trait, especially as we're trying to build a house this year, but player's gonna play. That's definitely not relatable to, dude, I'm losing it, Chris, I'm losing it. Oh, we're this close from coffee. Dude, I didn't tell them to put me up there. Fun fact, me and Jeremy Allen, same birthday, February 17th. you guys remember Maddie, wife of the hour, wife of the year,
Wife of the hour.
wife of forever. My lips are frozen. Oh, I'm so good. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. I did not plan this route. Ran from my hotel, the Ludlow, up 6th Ave, around Central Park, down 6th Ave to meet Maddie at La Cabra. I was supposed to run 18 miles. 18.02. Literally almost perfect, exact 18 miles. Dude, God is so good.
Tonight, here in a few hours, actually, I fly to India for 2.5 weeks. Gonna be a long trip. It's gonna be a hard trip to kind of, the timing's obviously not ideal with marathon block training starting in a week. That's, you know, a week into the India trip. So I get back on February 11th, 11 days into the block. So it's gonna be pretty challenging. I've never had to deal with this type of challenge for just my work and travel, which I do a lot, but also trying to have a really serious, dedicated, committed marathon block. It's gonna provide to be very, very challenging these next 17 days. But I feel like I have a good plan. Some of the hotels I'm staying in has treadmills. I want people to run outdoors much because of the air quality, and just the streets are pretty chaotic and can be dangerous in terms of driving. So had a good conversation with my coach, Jeff Cunningham, and he feels very confident that, you know, if I can walk away with only having missed 4 out of 17 days, 5 runs out of 17 days, that will feel really good. So do what I'm supposed to do in India and kind of have this passion project, this photographic passion project that I've been building for 8 years now. I want to focus on that. My heart is in that at all times, but when I have some down hours, to be able to get my runs in and to kind of just hold on to fitness for these next 17 days. So I mean, I planned this marathon back in October, so I've had several months to kind of prepare for this, but the goal was to, after Chicago, was to like be committed for December and January, put some serious miles in throughout the winter, so that when you get to January 25th and you fly to India for almost 3 weeks, you're leaving and getting on that plane in really, really good shape. That, God forbid, I'm not able to run for 17 days, that if I got back, I would still be in pretty decent shape and not have lost too much. Because if I didn't run through winter and then I didn't run while in India and I get into the Copenhagen build 11 days late, having not run, that would have been a really big uphill battle. I'm ready for a big PR. It's been 2 years, and I have a very fun year of racing plan ahead, and I feel like this is the best year for me to be able to achieve my goals. And I have a half marathon race that I have on the calendar, which I haven't mentioned yet. I'm doing the Project 13.1 by Trials of Miles half marathon race, I think in Rockland Park, which is about 45-minute drive north of Manhattan. That's March 22nd. It's like 300 runners. It's this like 3-mile loop around a lake that's very flat. So you do a handful of laps there, and there's gonna be a lot of quick runners from anywhere from like a 64 half marathon to all the way up to 130. So I mean, there's gonna be just a lot, and I've kind of looked at some of the lists and the groupings that they have, but I think there's a good almost 100 in the 70 to 73, the 110 to 113 half marathon range, which is what I'm shooting for. So it's gonna be very compact, very competitive, very tight knit. If it's a windy day, you can kind of tuck in and play some strategic games there. But if conditions are perfect, it's gonna be blazing. But I'm excited for the fruit that will come from these 2 months of training, and to prepare myself to be in the best possible position heading into the Copenhagen block.